Hi team. I wanted to share this video with you because there is a demo that I'm working on, and I'm really excited about telling you about it. I really hope that you provide me some feedback and that you let me know if you like it. I have some new ideas that I want to share with you, and that only will be possible if you send me your feedback. Um, I want to share with you where the motivation for this demo comes from. I wanted to have a demo made by myself to show the rep toolkits instead of having them in a plastic box, uh, or a bag without without really seeing them work. So the challenge was to invent something that will integrate as much technology from the Logix line card as possible. And I decided that Tecate will be a good technology to start with, because I usually don't get a no when I offer to talk about supercapacitors. Usually people have heard about them, and they are curious about them. And usually the main question they all have is, should I use a supercapacitor or a battery? Okay, so these usually convert all my sales about supercapacitors in a really consultative sales, and this allow me to get details about the project. So that gave me the opportunity to sell as much as possible to only one customer, and that's the objective at the end. I want to increase the cross selling to one customer, and I want to make the customer fall in love with the technology that we are providing. So I want the customer to see the product in action, to get surprised by the technology, uh, to let them know that we are there to help. And at the end, I want them to feel thirsty about more information. I want them to look for us and not really looking for an answer from them, as usually we do. So the idea is to make live demos about some technologies. The most valuable item that we can get from the customer is that they are safe about transitioning to a new technology that they are going to integrate to their project, right? So this way, having a live demo with the technology that we are selling, it's easier that they will feel supported, and that they will gain respect, or we will earn their respect from the engineering groups. All right. So going back, another thing that I want to make is, I want to make some videos so that the customer may use them as a reference for their own design. All right. So I have done some video about the Tecate. I'm gonna share that with you. The idea is to make some videos with each one of the items, because I have used the PLC and etc. The resistors, how to choose one, why the arcle, the technical features that we provide, why Honfa, and also pace, etc. All right. Going to the next slide. On this diagram, I showed you a general overview of the demo, right? This is a really first version. So in this diagram, I show you how all the manufacturers integrate between them. And please just keep in mind that this is a proof of concept. Of course, I'm missing some manufacturers, but I wanted something to start with. Okay, so I chose to use a PLC from Crusade because I wanted to have the ability to connect the multimeter test proof in just one place, and I wanted to have a data log of all the testing that I'm doing, and also this way I can just get a plot of all the information that I'm reading here, and I can just graph that with the multimeter. All right, and I can make all that without changing the proof. That's the cool thing. So I can just stand up in front of a customer. I can just connect my multimeter to a test point, and I will just click start, and it will run all the tests without having to do anything else there. All right, so then I'm using a home file relay, and this is because this PLC from Crusade can only drive up to 8 amps. So I wanted to be able to read as much current as possible, so I was able to get some 20 amps relay, so that way I'm limited here to 20 amps for now. All right, so I had to add some extra amount of current here. That's why I had to add the relay. So it is also important that to know that this is possible because the home file relays have a really low resistance on the contacts, and also it's that it's to be able to drain up to 250 amps on this circuit. um, on this circuit, pace is used for the battery. The objective of adding a battery is to be able to make a live demonstration on the difference between the battery and the super cap. So, and also not only that, it's the advantages that the customer can get if they mix both. All right, so I decided that, as I mentioned it, to demonstrate the Tecate because it's a really good way to get a customer interest, and they easily get open or give us information about the other projects, or the everything else around their technical specs for the super caps. All right. Then another important topic is a supercap can drain a big amount of current. So for that, it's you need a device to be able to drain that current. We need a load. That's why I chose Ohmite, because we have some resistors, Arco resistors, to be able to drain those many amps. So the advantage is, for example, the Arco resistors, they already have a integrated heatsink, but if it's needed, all might also have the heatsinks, extra heatsink. So that's why all might it's really convenient to be used as a load. All right. So let's go to the next slide. I have worked right now into test or proof of concept prototypes. So this is on the left. This is the very first version. I just working on a wide prototype board, and I just got started with everything I could get from a local electronics store near my house. And you could see here the PLC. We have the home file relays here. We have the Tecate super caps here, and there is also uh, all my resistors here for the load. Then for the second version, I did a PCB with some etching solution, and I draw the PCB with my hands, and a permanent maker. So right now I have here some batteries. I have the relays, the Honfa relays, and I have the Tecate supercap here, and I have an Arco resistor here as load. All right. Now, well, as I told you, it's the advantage of having this module or this demo. It's, for example, that I can show charging and discharging a supercap demo. It will only take 5 minutes. We can just prove the amount of current that the supercap can drain. That, for example, we have some 450 farad U caps, and they can drain 280 amps around, more or less. All right. So it's really cool because the only way, or a way to measure that current, it's with a shunt resistor from Omite, for example. And For circuits lower than 100 amps, I can still switch with the PLC, and I can use some relays from home. All right. So the idea here is that we can just demonstrate all these features for the supercap, and not only for the supercap. We can do this all for the load. We can test some parameters for the load. We can just check some parameters for the relay, as we do right now for the supercaps on the same circuit. So if you go ahead on these slides, this is just an example of how we can just configure the circuit to work with different networks, and we can get the plots here for the current and for the voltage in only one plot here. All right. So I can just keep going. This is just an example of all the technical stuff that you can just get on this demo. The idea is to do the same with all the lines. Please let me know if you like it. If you want me to do more, if uh, what do you want to add? I would like to add more technology for your products. So just let me know. Send me an email or just give me a call. Thank you.